Good morning, everybody. Today's video is on how I fill raised beds. I mean, you can go out and buy a bunch of stuff, or this is going to cost me $0 to fill. I've been gardening for, this will be my 4th year, so I have compost, I have leaf mold, I have all the materials right at hand to fill these beds and not spend a dime. So let me just start out here. This is my front trellis. I had straw bales on here once, and then last year I did the grow bags, which are here. And this year I made beds to put in here, permanent ones. So I'm going to show you here what I did. The bottom layer here is wood, logs. A friend of mine's a cabinet maker. He had some scrap oak and oak and all sorts of good stuff that I put down there also. And what the wood does, it acts as a sponge. It holds moisture. And if I'm sure everybody's aware that things are kind of drying out in big parts of the country, so retaining moisture is very important. Now normally when I put in a bed like this, I'll dig out about a foot or a foot and a half or 2 feet below the soil, and I'll use that native soil and incorporate it higher up into the bed. But seeing that my neighbor was expanding his patio, I got a bunch of free dirt, so I didn't have to do any digging. That's a plus. So anyhow, so what I do is I lay down logs, stomp them down, then I put in some native dirt and kind of filled in all the gaps. And what I do too is I water it in, because I want these logs to get, we're not going to have rain here, any significant rain in the next 10 days. And I want this material, this wood, there's what else did I put in here? A bunch of branches, wood, and I soaked it in with the native soil. And now I'm putting a layer of, these were asparagus fronds from last year, and this is the this material here is what I sift out of my compost. And it's full of bacteria, full of microorganisms that are great for the soil. Then the other thing I do at this stage is I add lactic acid bacteria, and there's plenty of videos on there. And what this will do is speed up the decomposition of this wood. I give it a healthy shot of the lactic acid bacteria. So this material is going to break down a lot quicker than if I hadn't done that. And the other thing too, the way LAB, they call it lactic acid bacteria, it breaks down organic material through fermentation. So what happens is it releases, instead of heat, it releases carbon dioxide and water, so it actually over time will aerate the soil. So what I'm going to do now, after I'm going to put some more of these, spread these out better. And this is partially finished compost from last year, and it's full of good worms. There's plenty in here, and there's no jumping worms. And that's something else. A lot of people use leaves to put in the bottom of the bed, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to attract any jumping worms in here. Because I talking to neighbors, I'm not the only one that has them. So I'm not using any leaves. That's their favorite food. So what I'll do is I'll distribute this over the top of this material, and then I'll start finishing it off. You'll probably get up to about this high with the compost, about halfway. And then I'll start incorporating more of the native soil This is the last of my leaf mold from last year. It got hot enough I could solarize it, so there's no jumping worms in there. And what else do I got? Oh yeah, and then I have this is finished rusted hot compost, and I'll mix native soil, leaf mold, and compost in the top third. Like right here, I finished this half yesterday, and I laid down, I don't know, a couple coffee cans of worm castings, mixed it in, and then today I'll finish this off with another top layer of compost, leaf mold, native soil, and that'll be it. I just want to show you how nice material this is. It's very airy. And something else I do at this point is I put in comfrey tea that I made last year, and that's going to give it another boost of microorganisms and nutrition. So this is how I do it. Literally, this has cost me nothing to fill these beds and to buy material. You know, you're going to spend a lot, and it's not going to be this active microbially, and it's not going to have the nutrition that these beds will start out with. So that's about it. Hope everybody has a good day. Bye now.